Good afternoon, friends. It's Lance here, and today I want to talk about depression. So I guess I'll start by sharing a little bit about myself. For probably like 8 or 9 years, on and off, I struggled with really deep depression, like suicidal depression, on and off. And for me, like a lot of it was related to I had issues with like chronic Lyme disease, things related to that, where I actually had like a bacterial infection in my brain. So there was that, and then I think there was also some spiritual stuff going on, like, you know, we're not just flesh and blood, we're body, soul, and spirit. And sometimes when there's issues in our soul, that affects our mental health, and sometimes spiritually there's different forces at play that affect how a person perceives depression. But anyways, I'm not here to talk about necessarily what gets people depressed. I think there's definitely varying levels of depression. Some people, they just have kind of trouble getting out of bed in the morning, or they maybe feel sad, they can't really shake it. But depression, guys, can go really deep. Like, it can go way deeper than you could ever imagine, to the point where you literally can't get out of bed for weeks at a time, like barely even to shower. You don't feed yourself, you don't do anything like that. All you think about is taking your own life, guys. So if you've struggled with depression, or you know somebody that has, just understand that you don't really understand it. You know, the worst thing you can say to somebody who's really depressed is like, I understand, I've been there. You guys, you haven't. You might have experienced depression the way that you've experienced it, but you don't know that there's people that suffer from it 10 times, 100 times worse than you've experienced it. So I'm not taking away from your guys' suffering. I think most people at some point in life go through some sort of depression, small or large. I think most people in life at some point or another have thoughts of like, it'd be better not to be alive. So I'm just going to talk pretty openly about this, because I'm in a really good place in life right now. I'm really happy. I'm really thankful for life. I'm thankful for everything that I've been through. I'm experiencing a lot of joy in my life, and my life isn't easy. But, you know, I want to bust some myths here, guys. Depression usually isn't just a choice. You know, sometimes if somebody has a mild depression, maybe they do just complain a lot. Maybe they don't see the good in life, and maybe they feel a little bit down because they compare themselves to other people, or they spend too much time watching the news and the media, and they get depressed about what's going on in the world. And that's fine. Like, that kind of that kind of depression, you can usually work your way through. You can talk to somebody, you know, maybe there's a place for medication. I'm not a huge fan at all, really, of pharmaceutical antidepressants, but I know that they do help people. So it's like, if it helps you, take it. You know what I mean? Don't ever judge somebody for taking an antidepressant if it helps them. So yeah, but I want to talk more about like the moderate to severe depression, the kind of depression where even if your life is going great, you just are miserable, and like you're in this fog all the time. You can't think straight, you can't remember things, you can't sleep. Guys, it's literally like hell on earth. So if you're going through that, I don't know, like, on one hand, like, I don't want to say I know where you've been, I know where you are, but I don't know anybody really that's experienced as deep of depression as I have. Like, I did self-harm and everything like that. If you meet me, I have scars on my arm, and I'm not at all ashamed of it. It is what it is. I think if anybody went through what I went through, they would have also had a very hard time dealing with it. And then it leads to like addictions and stuff, because you have trouble feeling any kind of pleasure in your life. All you feel, some people think depression is just feeling sad all the time. Honestly, the worst kind of depression is when you feel nothing at all. When you just feel completely numb, you feel like empty inside, you feel like your soul has evaporated. To me, that's like the worst kind. Like, sometimes when I was really depressed, I wished I could cry. I wish I could be angry. But I was like so depressed, I had no energy to even cry or to be angry. I was just numb, and it's brutal. So if you're in the middle of that, you're not alone. Like, I am with you. I'm believing for you. God works miracles. You know, God uses other people, other things to work miracles. You never know. You could be a day away from breakthrough, guys. Just don't ever give up. Ever. Don't ever give up. Your life is too important. Now, if you know somebody that is dealing with depression, and you've never dealt with it, or maybe you've dealt with it in a moderate and mild way, just be really careful how you counsel somebody. Like, sometimes the worst thing you can say to people is just like, try and think positive, or look on the bright side, or think of everything you have to be thankful for. And one of the absolute worst things you can say to somebody who's suicidal is to call them selfish. That's extremely selfish, to call somebody selfish. We are human beings. Our deepest survival instinct is to stay alive. Nobody wakes up and wants to kill themselves. Nobody wants to die, guys. If somebody in your life is suicidal, you might think, how could you? You have friends that love you, you have family, you have kids. And if you try and put that burden on them, like, shame on you. You know what I mean? Like, when I was depressed and suicidal, you're looking at life through like this little pinhole. You don't see the people that you're hurting, the people that would miss you when you're gone. You're in so much pain and suffering that all you can think about is ending it. And this is by no means advocating suicide at all, guys. It's never okay to take your life. God is the giver of life, and He decides when it should end. If you've lost somebody to suicide, my heart is breaking with you. I can't imagine losing a loved one to suicide. So yeah, if you know somebody in your life that's struggling with it, just really be careful to not try and be the answer man. Don't tell them what you think they need to hear to fix themselves. Like, don't feel like you have to get in there and fix it. The Bible tells us to weep with those who weep and rejoice with those who rejoice. Sometimes people just want to know that you are there for them, that you're okay, that they're not okay. You know what I mean? They just maybe need somebody to put an arm around them and hug them and not even say anything. Just say, I love you and I care about you. Your life is valuable. You know what I mean? Don't put burdens on people that are already burdened. Jesus hates that. He says, woe to you, like he talks to these lawyers, these experts in law. He says, woe to you lawyers. You tie up heavy burdens on others that you yourselves won't lift with one finger. So guys, we never want to be people, especially Christians, we never want to be people that put a burden on other people that we ourselves wouldn't lift with one finger. And I'll use this analogy. You know, scientifically, they say that your brain can't distinguish between a broken heart and a broken leg. So if somebody is experiencing mental anguish and torment and depression, the mind experiences it the same way as if you had a broken leg. You know what I mean? So think about this. Say you were in a car crash and you broke every bone in your body, and somebody said, hey, don't take the morphine from the paramedics. Medication is bad. You know, you would never say that to somebody who broke all their bones. So if somebody needs to go on an antidepressant, don't guilt them and say medication is bad. Like, I don't love antidepressants. I don't love chemicals in my brain that psychiatrists don't even really know how antidepressants work. They don't know the long-term effects. They're really not well studied. But if they're going to help you, go on them, honestly. So you know, like if you were experiencing physical pain, you would, especially if it was excruciating pain that you could not handle, you would do anything to get out of that pain. You would take medication, you'd go to the hospital, you'd let the doctors put you in a coma until they fixed all your bones. So in a lot of ways, people that are really suicidal experience this kind of pain. They can't think about anything else except how to end the pain. So I'm hoping, if nothing else, like I didn't know where this video was going to go. If nothing else, I'm just wanting people to understand that depression it can be very real, and it can be very deep, and it can be very dark. So if you're going through it, there's always hope. There is a light on the other side. I can't tell you guys how many months and years I just thought it was literally impossible to ever be happy again, to ever get my life back. But I'm happy again. I'm happy every day. I'm grateful. My kids have their dad back. So do what you need to do. Like, you're worth fighting for. Explore all of the options, you guys. And at the end of the day, like I said, sometimes there's physical factors. Like, sometimes you might just be low in vitamin D. You might be low in magnesium. You might be dealing with some sort of underlying infection, like Lyme disease, you know, if nothing's helping. And also, I believe depression can also very much be a spiritual thing, like an evil spirit of heaviness, the Bible calls it, where just no matter what's going on, like if you're doing everything right, you're eating healthy, you don't have any underlying health issues, your life is good, you're normally a healthy person, happy person, but you're just super depressed, it could be a spiritual thing, guys. It could be that you need to, you know, see what's going on inside your heart and your soul. See if there's a door that you open to let something in. And sadly, there's not a lot of people, to be honest, in the church that really know how to deal with an evil spirit, that really know how to heal people and cast a demon out. But yeah, so these are just some things to consider. If you're suffering with depression, my heart goes out to you. There's hope. I'm living proof of it. There's nothing to be ashamed about. If you're trying to help somebody with depression, or you know somebody with depression, stop judging them. Hopefully I'm not talking to you, but just love them as if they were just in a car crash and every bone in their body was broken. Because if they're really depressed, what they're experiencing is actually way more painful than a broken leg. Way more painful. So guys, just you can never err on the side of love, compassion, empathy, understanding, kindness. These things will break down walls that good advice and judgment ever can. So don't put burdens on other people. Lift burdens off of people. That's what Jesus did. He didn't come and burden people. He lifted burdens off of people, and that's how people feel loved. That's how people feel accepted. So I know this is a pretty strong message, and I talked about some sensitive topics. I think I'm just going to finish it there. Like, I didn't know where I was going to go with this, and this video is coming up on 12 minutes, and I think most people, including myself, our attention span is like 30 seconds, maybe 3 minutes at best. So this is going to stay on my Facebook and Instagram, and maybe one day it'll find the right person who needs to hear this. And I will say this, the guys, like, if you feel like something I'm saying connects with you, and you feel like I'm trustworthy, like maybe if you've lost somebody to suicide, if you are suicidal, if you know somebody that's suicidal or depressed, like, reach out to me. I will keep it completely confidential, even if you know me very well and we've known each other for a long time, but I don't know that you struggle with these things. Like, if you ever want to reach out to me, it doesn't leave the conversation, you know, like, my lips are sealed. If you feel like you have nobody, you do have me. I can't always guarantee that I'll be available around the clock, but if you're ever in crisis, like, guys, reach out to me. You can call these crisis hotlines. I've called them, but a lot of times they're not that great. They'll just tell you to go to your local hospital. And to be honest, like, sometimes that's what's needed. If you're in immediate danger to yourself and you feel like you can't control the urges to do something drastic, then the hospital is the best place. Sadly, I think honestly it'd be awesome if the church was the best place. But right now, a lot of churches just don't know how to deal with this stuff. But I'm hoping that'll change. I'm really hoping that'll change. Like, Jesus is the answer. Jesus honestly is the answer to set you free. But in the meantime, like, if you feel like you're a danger to yourself, just know that it's not permanent. If you have to go to the hospital, that's fine. If you have to call a crisis hotline, that's fine. You know, but again, I am here, guys. If you know somebody that knows somebody, shoot me a message in my inbox, and I'll do my best to get back to you. Okay, God bless you.